Hello, I'm Robin. My pronouns are she and they, and I thought we'd just have a look and see if we can find out what kind of condition um, gender dysphoria is. Is it an illness? Is it a disease? Is it a condition? What sort of thing is it? And what is a need? Medical need. First of all, let's start with that. What defines a medical need? Because when you think of it, what is a need? So let's see if we can find a definition for that and see if we can come to a conclusion about where gender incongruence and gender dysphoria sit amongst this. So, define medical need brings the following snippet in a Google search result. So, healthcare services or supplies needed to diagnose or treat an illness, injury, condition or disease or its symptoms, and that meet accepted standards of medicine. That's what a need is. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Oh, it's not the definition of medical need, it's the definition of medically necessary, which I suppose amounts to the same thing. So, illness, injury, condition or disease. So gender incongruence and gender dysphoria. Now we have to look at the definitions of these four terms. Well, clearly it's not an injury. An injury is something like a broken arm or a sprained ankle, that sort of thing, usually caused by an accident. A disease is going to be, let's look it up actually, a disorder of structure or function of it in a human, animal or plant, especially one that has a known cause and a distinctive group of symptoms, signs or anatomical changes. So it clearly doesn't really fit that either. Now what about illness? And my therapist, when I was questioning whether I had gender dysphoria, gender incongruence, all this stuff, told me it's not an illness. Illness is here defined as a disease or period of sickness affecting the body or mind. What about condition? I think we're going to have to call it medical condition. I apologise if you can hear the wind. It's we have a weather warning today here where I live. Medical condition. Okay, looks like we've got to go to here. If you talk about the condition of a person or thing, you are talking about the state that they are in, especially how good or bad their physical state is. The reason I'm bringing this up is a lot of people think that gender dysphoria is a medical illness. Now, here we see from the NHS that gender dysphoria is a term that describes a sense of unease that a person may have because of a mismatch between their biological sex and their gender identity. As I have, this sense of unease or dissatisfaction may be so intense it can lead to depression and anxiety and have a harmful impact on daily life. Well, depression and anxiety are mental illnesses, but gender dysphoria itself is not classed as an illness anymore. It was at one time. Let me see if I can point you to something that tells you about that, because the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, it's whether that's the authority on the subject. I'm not sure what the latest version is. Obviously I don't have it. It's a big document. It's going to take a little while for it to load up, but my understanding is that DSM-V does not class gender dysphoria as an illness, in which case for it to be a medical need that can be treated, it has to be a condition. But let me see. Page 451. This is the first time I've actually looked this up. Alright, so those are specific codes that relate to the condition. What does it say? Body dysmorphic disorder should not be diagnosed if the preoccupation is limited to discomfort with or a desire to be rid of one's primary and or secondary sex characteristics in an individual with gender dysphoria. Here's the chapter on it, chapter and verse. I'm not going to go through all of this. Gender dysphoria refers to blah blah blah. Okay, yeah. So the previous edition of this document used the term gender identity disorder, and that's no longer used. It actually shows you the conditions that you have to satisfy to get a diagnosis. Alright, I suppose the best approach now is to kind of search from this, well, within this chapter, I suppose. How long is that chapter? It's 9 pages. Oh, I wanted to be at that chapter though. Right, it was in section 2, gender dysphoria. Does illness appear within this section at all? And the answer is no. So this is it. The medical need for treatment for gender dysphoria is satisfied by the fact that gender dysphoria is a condition, I believe. I did have a discussion, well, not a discussion, but a comment thread with Dr. Jamie on YouTube, and they agreed with me that that was indeed the case. I hope this has been helpful in some way, shape or form. Maybe you need to prove to someone that gender dysphoria is not an illness. You can see there are 319 instances of illness within DSM-V, and the pages that relate to gender dysphoria don't contain that word. I suppose they contain the word condition. Yeah, conditions all over the place. So it's a condition. It's not an illness, it's not a disease, and it's clearly not an injury. Before I sign off, I'm just going to say I hope you have a wonderful 2024. If indeed you're watching this at the time that it comes out, this should come out midnight tonight. It's New Year's Eve today where I am. Thank you for watching.